Hello supporters, are you ready for an update? I've been working on this update for the past 4 days now, and the feedback I've been getting from the first video was, why didn't I show people me working on the design? And my answer to that was, the work in progress is not as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's numerous hours involved in putting a garment together, and this update is going to actually give you a front row seat so you can see exactly how extensive putting the garment together is and everything in between. And so, all my supporters, I shot this video purposely for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Now let's get ready for this update. Thanks.
Every prototype I produce starts with a simple sketch. As you can see here, I'm taking a design concept and drawing a flat sketch of a mental image I have. I am also envisioning what the material will probably be at this time as well. There are a few things that have to be considered first. They are the functionality of the garment and the signature feature. Not all designers apply a signature feature to their designs. However, I like to add a signature so people can see the cohesiveness throughout the entire collection and know that it's a Treal'One original. Immediately after I draw the flat sketch, I then follow up with a fashion illustration. And I do this so that I get some type of idea as to how the garment may lay on the body and drape. I also do this so I can better situate the designs I am considering for my collection. This particular sketch here is one of 30 prototypes I was showcased during Baltimore Fashion Week in August of this year. The name of this collection is called Victory, and I named it Victory for several reasons. The main reason is the struggles I've gone through and my current struggles as a clothing line manufacturer. The main difference between a flat sketch and a fashion illustration is the story associated with each of them. With a flat sketch, you can convey a visual message but then have to explain such details as what the fabric choice is, what the colors may be, and more. Now, with a fashion illustration, you are beginning to tell much more of a vivid story. You're bringing your garment to life now. The questions that come at this point are, what accessories are you thinking about using? What sizes are you considering? And will there be variations of these designs? A lot goes into actually creating a collection, and time is of the essence. If you're a true designer like me, you wouldn't even attempt to construct a garment without certain tools handy. Each of these tools have a specific purpose, and some will be used more than others, but they all make the job much easier. Right about this time is when I began analyzing the sketch and really thinking about how I will create the pattern. Just because I have a flat sketch and a fashion illustration completed doesn't necessarily mean that somewhere down the line that this design will not be altered. This is where the fun begins. It gets challenging sometimes, creating the pattern pieces and making sure they match when the time comes to sew them together. There are two things I like to do before I cut the fabric. The first is I like to lay the pattern pieces I created onto the mannequin to see how well they fit together. The second thing I like to do is create a sample of the prototype using practice material or muslin. It is during this time that I find out if the garment is fully functional or cumbersome. If there is an issue with the fitting, I can easily correct it and move on. Each designer has their own way of doing things when it comes down to pattern development. Some use store-bought patterns and alter the design, which is similar to a knockoff or rub-off. Some use body landmarks and mathematical measurements to achieve their pattern, and others prefer to drape. I personally like to drape because I've captured the essence of the body or shape of the person that you're creating this garment for. At this point, I have created the first pattern or the rough pattern. I then refine the first pattern to create the finished pattern. And finally, I create the working pattern that has notches and seam allowances added. and in the industry, this is the most costly step for a designer. The average cost of a pattern is around $400 or more depending on the complexity of the design. This cost doesn't include the grading of additional sizes up or down. A pattern grade can be an additional $150 or more depending on the complexity of the design again. And for that very reason, I create my own patterns, so it'll be easier on me and the manufacturer when the time comes to produce my designs on a larger scale. Early in my fashion career, I was told that your first collection should be 6 to 12 pieces. The reason for this is the cost. Now remember, I said that the average cost of a pattern is around $400. If you were to time 400 by the number of pieces in your collection, you would be spending a lot of money before production is even done. Let's say that you have 10 designs. There are 10 tops and 10 bottoms. You would need to have 20 patterns produced, giving you a total of $8,000. And then you have 6 sizes for each piece. That's about $18,000 right there. This brings your total collection to about $26,000, and you haven't even thought about the cut and sew aspect yet. Now that I have my flat sketch, my fashion illustration, my working pattern, and all of the fabric pattern pieces cut out, I can now prepare the 2 machines I will use to piece the sample garment or prototype together. Some people use home sewing machines to produce their garments, but I needed more power, so I got myself 3 industrial machines. I use a straight stitch machine and a serger. I rarely use my cover stitch machine, but I know there will come a time when I have to use it. Each machine has a specific purpose and must be threaded with colors that matches the fabric. This gives credibility to the designer and gives it that professional looking appearance and finish. I switch back and forth between the straight stitch, the serger, and the ironing board almost like a one-man assembly team. My work area gets so messy due to thread, fabric, and other materials that were cut. There have been times when I just left the scraps on the floor until I was done with production for that day. A fellow designer once told me that it takes them about 2.5 hours to complete a garment. I had to think for a minute. It takes me nearly 10 hours to create the first pattern and the finished pattern. So you gotta ask yourself, what type of garment is this person really creating? I guess this is where the difference lies when it comes to the many designers out there. I am about detail and accuracy. Some designers are about speed and simplicity. There's a place for every kind of design style. I prefer the high-end style because this allows your creativity to roam freely. And in my opinion, this is what true designing is. It takes about 76 to 98 hours to complete one garment, and this includes all of the steps involved. I could have chose to be simple or basic, but why? That would only make me average, and that's something I am not willing to do. I sometimes challenge myself with complex designs, and this often leads to complex patterns as well. If I run into difficulties while analyzing and creating my patterns, I just step back and analyze the design. This allows me the chance to refocus and figure out what went wrong and how I can make it work. I have been told by several that my designs are bold and that they look very expensive. This is probably true from a production point of view due to the asymmetrical cuts I tend to use. I am aware of this, and that's why I try to get that extra step and educate those who appreciate the Treal'One signature. I want to be that original designer. I want to create exclusive looking clothing. I truly want people to feel good and appreciate the work that goes into garment construction and development. To date, there's only one person other than myself who owns a Treal'One original. It feels good knowing I have the ability to design a garment and within days is ready to be worn. Due to the overall appreciation of my designs, I feel Treal'One is what the industry is looking for right about now. I hope my supporters can make this a reality by helping me get Treal'One out there to the people who appreciate my signature look. Every update is going to be entertaining and informative. It's really not about me though. It's about creating jobs by bringing others in to help me out, such as pattern makers, sewers, graders, and marker makers. This is just a small list of people I intend on helping through the growth of my company. I want all of my supporters to have a front row seat and enter the mind of me and see my process unfold. The theory behind this is so fashion can be appreciated once again. I would like to see production finally make its way home. I could be asking for too much though, but who doesn't want a better economy, job security again, and other benefits from supporting a small business? Supporting a small business such as myself sheds light on all three of the things I just mentioned, and with the growth of my business, those three categories become possibilities. But it takes extra effort to make the impossible possible. Can't you just see Treal'One coming to a city near you? I sure can, but I need your help. I know this video update is long, but I hope you enjoy it, and stay tuned for the update revealing the completion of this garment and the introduction of the next process. Thanks again, and I'm signing off until next time.